Hello, greetings, and welcome back to the BFC, where we go into the trenches of the trading world. We got a couple new additions to the BFC watch list, and we're going to go over some of our own long-term favorites as well. And hey, guys, if I miss something on these new stocks, hey, listen, and you think if I should share it with the audience, let me know. Definitely hit me up so we could do like efficient due diligence. I'm not perfect. I miss things all the time. Trust me. Just like the guys from TWOH, they'll let me know that. They'll let me know that. So, but listen, hey, we want to have efficient due diligence. And remember, never invest what you can't afford to lose and do your own due diligence. This is not financial advice. All right. I have a couple people along with me for the ride, and I'm going to bring one in now. And we're talking about Cornerstone Marketing. Let's bring Cornerstone in.
Oh,
Cornerstone, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How's it going, guys?
Well, we're just going to get this thing started, and I'm going to just get to it and do it. And well, the first stock I'm covering actually is one that you're interested in as well too. So let's just get this thing going. And hey, before I forget, guys, if you're a company out there and you want to join the BFC conference, join us on the week of September 21st. We're going to have another BFC conference. The last one went really, really well. So if you want to sign up, hit us up at buffalofiresidechats@gmail.com or just hit me on a DM on the X. So let's get to the due diligence here of the night. Stonks Sunday. So, all right, we're going to start with BULT. All right, what do we have? This is a new addition to the BFC watch list. We're talking about Bullet Blockchain, 6 cents. It's OTC ID. The market cap is 25 million, and the outstanding share count is 401 million, and held at DTC is just shy of 40 million. Let's keep this thing going here. The chart looks really good. You know, we have the cross to 5,200, and it looks like it's headed northward. I like what I see in the chart. It'd be nice to add on some pullbacks. I do not own the stock. Just so you know that, guys, I do not own this one yet. So let's look at their latest PR. All right. We have Bullet Blockchain announces strategic initiatives to accelerate growth and cement market leadership. Management outlines multi-pillar roadmap to provide deeper stakeholder insight. I love when they do this. I like when they say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Let's look at these pillars that they have going on. The only U.S. company holding foundational patents for Bitcoin ATMs and one of only 3 publicly traded Bitcoin ATM network owner-operators today announced a series of key strategic initiatives that management is pursuing to drive an aggressive expansion and align current and future stakeholders with the company's long-term vision. We have a clear strategy to capitalize on explosive growth of the crypto ATM market. And that was the CEO, Simon Rubin. And so let's talk about these pillars that they're talking about in this PR. First one is expanding our operational footprint. Bullet Blockchain is actively pursuing opportunities to dramatically accelerate the deployment of its Bitcoin ATM network. Building on a successful start, the company is now focused on a multi-pronged approach to scaling its operations. This includes exploring opportunities to acquire and deploy a significant number of new and refurbished crypto kiosks from both manufacturers and operators. I'm going to just jump down to the next one. By the way, guys, go on OTC Markets, read the full PR. We're just skimming today. We're just laying it out there. The next one is enhancing leadership in government. The company is committed to upholding the highest standards of corporate governance, intellectual property protection, and market compliance. To support these imperatives, I like that, Bullet Blockchain is actively engaging with highly qualified individuals to enhance its executive team and board of directors. This includes seeking out specialists in intellectual property to advise on strategies for enforcing and leveraging the company's foundational patents, as well as interviewing qualified candidates to join the board. And let's keep on going on here. Third, securing strategic capital. To execute, I know what you guys are automatically thinking. You're thinking of the D word, right? When you mention this, you guys are thinking dilution. All right. I know it because I'm a trader. I'm an investor in the OTC. I know how this goes. We know the D word. To execute its aggressive growth plan, Bullet Blockchain has strategically pursuing a number of capital formation opportunities. This includes sourcing low-cost credit facilities, short-term loans, and traditional equity financing. The company is also evaluating the creation of a strategic Bitcoin treasury program to leverage future crypto acquisitions. Through these efforts, management has identified significant plausible capital resources to its operations and fuel future growth. And finally, forging strategic alliances for enhanced security and utility. Bult Blockchain is actively building a comprehensive, secure, and user-centric ecosystem through their strategic partnerships. These alliances are focused primarily on two endeavors. One is focused on enhancing the customer experience by providing advanced security solutions for digital assets and crypto wallets. The other is facilitating new use cases such as efficient international remittances and developing new technology offerings that create greater visibility in secondary revenue streams. These initiatives position the company not just as a Bitcoin ATM operator, but as a holistic provider of modern crypto financial services, ultimately transforming the crypto kiosk from a single purpose device into a multifaceted hub for digital finance and commerce. And I'm going to just say why I feel the way I do about this. So, this is why I'm bullish on BULT. They actually hold the foundational US patents for Bitcoin's ATMs. That's huge because it means they've got leverage. They got legal leverage and a moat around one of the fastest growing segments in crypto. They're not just sitting on that IP either. They're licensing it, expanding their network, and lining up retail partnerships that could put their machines in gas stations, convenience stores, and high traffic locations all over the country. And if you don't think that's going to happen, it's going to happen. They're shoring up leadership, tightening compliance, and making sure the right people are in the right seats. And they got a clear plan to get capital that they need without killing shareholder value and diluting to high hell, which we've seen a lot. It's a common theme in the OTC. But they're not thinking small. They're building a whole crypto services ecosystem that's going to turn these ATMs into hubs for digital finance. So for me, the story's clear. You got strong IP, scalable business model, and the management that's actually laying the bricks instead of just talking about building a foundation. We hear that all the time. So I'm going to turn things over to Cornerstone. Give me your thoughts on BULT. Why are you so excited about this one? And just go for it.
Yeah, BLT really caught my eye last year when they started PRing about their connection with Cblo Technologies. And they really went after we already knew about their ATM patents, which is huge. Like, there's 39,000 ATMs operating currently in North America that are operating using these two ATM patents that are breaking the rules, essentially. So Bolt has the option of enforcing these patents and going after these 39,000 ATMs at some point. And Eric Novoshin, who's the CFO of Bolt, I've spoken to him. He's actually PR'd it and talked about it in the past. So they're exploring that option. They're speaking to lawyers, and they may go after that. This could mean hundreds of millions in lawsuits at some point. But some of the smaller vendors are already talking about settling and working out agreements with them as they go forward. But they noticed there's also was a big issue with fraud and prevention of fraud at these ATM machines. So they started working with Cblo to come up with a wallet system, and they started doing that last year. And they PR'd that, and then they followed through, and by March had that all completed. And so they launched that system, and they have over 200 machines in operation and had over $2.2 million in revenue last year, with plans to have 5 times that much by 2026. They went to Europe. They at the Bitcoin conference in Europe, they showed their technology to the community there. They had a huge amount of interest in their technology there. A ton of partnership offers, so many partnership offers. In fact, they had to launch a European division. So they have a whole bunch of European partnership offers going on. They're going to have a whole bunch of machines coming in Europe and revenue streams in that division as well coming soon. There's an absolute, when they say they have a ton of things coming down the pipeline, they mean it. I am absolutely excited for everything they've got coming, and you guys should be too. Buckle up. This one's a big one. When they hold the patents for the Bitcoin ATM, you can't say that's not something that comes to the OTC often. This is not destined to stay on the OTC. The other companies that are currently in the ATM Bitcoin market are not OTC companies, and they don't hold the patents. So we'll see where Bolt winds up, but I sure like the outlook.
No, absolutely. And the truth is, with this I mean, like, they could be the staple, for the software, and especially because it's patented. So if they're already going to make these ATMs, we're going to have regulations for these things. So they're early. So, and they're one of the few. They're like one of 3 companies that actually could do this, and they're the only one with patents, if I'm correct. So I don't
That's
know.
it.
Yeah, this could be freaking massive, and not even just guys, not even on the US scale, globally. Like, you're talking Europe too. And so they released this chart, the global crypto ATM market. The CAGR is set to grow 63.4%. So, and you know what? That's what they're estimating. Can it be higher than that? It may be. With the way we're going with crypto deregulation, not even deregulation, with we're finally regulating crypto in a way where it's sort of a catch-22. Like, it's regulating, but it's also a commodity now, right? So there's so much opportunity here. The crypto boom hasn't even really happened yet. It's going to be embedded in everybody's lives. Just like people are like, oh, I don't use credit card, I just use cash only. Yeah, those people are now using their cards or tapping the tapper, and they're going to be trading. They're going to be using crypto. They're going to be using currency backed by XRP or, Ripple, Bitcoin, all these things. People that today, in 10 years, I don't know if you agree or not, but in 10 years, people that never thought that they'd be using crypto will be using crypto.
Yeah, and it's a patent isn't, when I say the Bitcoin ATM, it's not just the Bitcoin patent, it's for all cryptocurrency the patent covers.
Yeah, it's awesome. Hey, Paul McKinney, how you doing? Good to have you. Play at your own risk. We always do. What's going on? All right, let's keep this going. All right, yeah, I'm excited about BULT. Cblo. This is a new addition to the BFC Watchlist. C2 blockchain. This is at 11 cents. OTC ID, market cap 35 million. Authorized shares 500 million. Outstanding 327 million, with just under, again, held at DTC 40 million. So got some nice little floats here that we're talking about. And the chart's looking great. You had the 50-20 cross, and you had a nice bounce right there off of the 50, and it's sitting at 11 cents. Let's talk about why this is so significant. Let's look at their PR, where things started to come together. And this was on July 2nd of 2025. C2 Blockchain signs LOI to acquire 20% equity interest in Texas Digital Infrastructure project owned by ART Digital, OTC ticker CGAC. All right, so make sure you give that one a whirl too. Check that out. So C2 Blockchain is pleased to announce the execution of a letter of intent with ART Digital Corp to acquire 20% equity interest in the McAllen project, a high-performance digital infrastructure facility located in McAllen, Texas. The transaction is valued at $1 million. The McAllen project is strategically, I got to say that. I always do the Bush impression whenever I see that word, strategery. I'm getting goofy now, ain't I? Goofy on Stonks Sunday. Yeah. So the McAllen project is strategically positioned digital infrastructure asset designed to support high-density compute applications, including blockchain mining, AI workloads, and advanced data processing. The facility currently features 10 megawatts of operational capacity with expansion potential to 30 megawatts, underpinned by access to low-cost, reliable Texas energy grids with renewable energy optionality. This acquisition strengthens C2's blockchain position within the digital infrastructure sector and reflects the company's commitment to scaling alongside the growing demand for blockchain validation, AI compute, and high performance data processing. So let's look at the quote here. This strategic investment marks a significant step in C2 Blockchain's infrastructure growth strategy. The McAllen project is a premium compute. I hate saying the word compute. I want to finish it. Computer. Okay. Premium compute facility in a premier energy market, offering long-term value in blockchain and AI sectors. All right. And that was Levi Jacobson, the CEO. And let's look at their most recent PR. This was just about 4 days. Yeah, 4 days ago. C2 Blockchain, a US-based C2 Blockchain Incorporated infrastructure and digital asset treasury company, announced the acquisition of an additional 6.7 million Dogcoin tokens, increasing its aggregate holdings to 207 million dogs. The transaction was executed on Kraken Exchange, Kraken Exchange, at an average purchase price of dub 29 per token, further solidifying the company's position as one of the largest institutional holders of Dogcoin globally. All right, let's take a look at what the CEO said. Crossing the 200 million dog milestone. It's the saying dog is funny, guys. I got to laugh a little bit. Crossing the 200 million dog milestone is not a capstone, it's a checkpoint. We continue to build our dog coin treasury based on conviction, not speculation. Dog is a Bitcoin native asset with credible scarcity, verifiability, security, and a rapidly growing community. As digital culture and financial infrastructure converge, we intend for C2 blockchain to remain at the forefront of this evolution. And that was Levi Jacobson again. All right. The company views Dogcoin not merely as a meme-based token, but as a digital native store of value with increasing relevance in emerging decentralized ecosystems. So why am I like super, I wouldn't say super bullish. Why am I bullish on this one? I do like this one. I'm feeling good about it. I think they're making smart moves in two fast growing areas, the blockchain and the AI computing. And the new deal to buy 20% of the McKellen project I think that's a big step. This place already runs on 10 megawatts power, and they have the ability to triple that. It's at a prime spot with cheap, reliable energy, and they have room to grow. So that's what you want for mining and AI work. What I like most about Cblo isn't just betting on mining. They make money from hosting clients and leasing out computing power too. So they've got multiple ways to bring in revenues. For me, this deal gives them steady income potential and a lot of room to scale up. So I do like this one. And I'm going to keep this one on the BFC watch list. Let's keep this thing going. And hey, Cornerstone, if you ever want to just chime in, feel free. Chime in whenever you want.
I got you, brother.
You could interrupt me. You could say, shut up, E-Rock. I'm just having too much fun here. I know we got a lot of tickers to cover. And hey, guys, Jordan Hug is going to join us too. How exciting is that? Now, here's another one of my favorites, CVAT. Now, listen. We're going to have a Spaces, guys, Tuesday, 4 p.m., right at market close, 4 p.m. We're going to have a Spaces with the CEO, Neil Volushin. It's going to be great. All right, so be excited about that. And get your butt to the Spaces. Use that as an opportunity to, ask questions and do firsthand due diligence. That's what we're all about here. Hey, what's up, Chuck? In the house, Reno Rocker. What's up, brother? Hope you're doing well. So here's another beauty. I love this one. 3 cents, OTC QB. The market cap is 9 million. Authorized share count 1 billion. And sitting at the DTC is 196 million. This is a nice little float. And I really like the way the chart's moving lately. We had the nice 5,200 cross. And we had a break in that, but we have sustained. I'd love to see this one bump up and just consolidate over the 3-4 mark, give or take. So, it all depends what kind of volume it's going to get. But I think if you look at this, your chart, this is freaking nice. We've been moving in the right direction. This company's been around for a long time. They're not reverse splitting. They're not doing anything crazy. Like, it's a real company with real products. I've talked with management. I'm really excited. I literally asked, and I put it in the Discord. So if you're in the BFC Discord, I put all this information in there, all the PDFs of their products, what they have going on, in regards to their clients. They have some big PRs lined up, very big news. And we're actually going to look at their Twitter account in a second. But man, I really like what they have going on. It's like really legit. And I know you're like, well, I hope it is. It's a company that's publicly trading. Come on now. We're talking OTC. We try to find the ones with real products and that could really sustain real growth. All right. And this one I'm really excited about. So let me just take a look here. I don't know if you guys could hear me or not. Let me know in the chat if you could hear me, because I don't know if
I can hear you, man.
You could hear me. All right. I'm having, guys, if I lose power, all right, I'm having major issues with the computer today, and we are going to be upgrading very soon. It can't handle all this due diligence. It really can't. Oh my God. It just can't handle the due diligence.
Is burning it out.
Yeah. See what just happened? Oh my gosh. It's going haywire today. But hey, I'm going to fix this right now. I'm not quitting. I'm not stopping yet. I'm like losing power all over the place, but I don't care. We're going to keep this thing going. And so, Yeah, I do think this computer just can't handle the due diligence. It's like you can't handle the truth. Yeah, I don't know, it's brutal. But I want to get into their latest PR. So let me pull this back up here. We need Jord to give a birthday cake monologue right now. That would be great.
Hold on, you said CVAT.
Oh yeah, CVAT. And I'm going to share the screen right now because I really want to share this with you guys. Here we are. I'm back. All right. Cavitation Technologies expands cavitation non-thermal plasma technology in the Bitcoin mining sector with immersion cooling application. Cold plasma meets hot mining. While the world watches Bitcoin hit new highs, another silent infrastructure crisis is unfolding behind the scenes. There's the problem. The systems that power digital assets, mining rigs, immersion cooling loops, and high-density data centers all depend on stable, clean fluids to operate. Immersion cooling has revolutionized the way Bitcoin miners manage heat, but it's also brought a new wave of problems no one was prepared for. Degraded dielectric fluids, VOC contamination, hardware corrosion, and toxic fluid disposal challenges. These are the hidden costs behind the mining boom. Our cavitation non-thermal plasma system now steps into the mining sector as a chemical-free, scalable solution to these mounting challenges, regenerating fluids, eliminating contaminants, and keeping operations clean and efficient. And so let's keep this thing going. All right, this isn't just a tech upgrade. It's a smart step into the growing world of digital infrastructure where clean water and fluid systems are becoming more important than ever. As Bitcoin mining farms scale globally and cryptocurrency mining hardware market continues to grow, projected to reach 51.8 billion, utilizing immersion cooling technologies, it's a rapidly replacing traditional air-cooled system to improve thermal efficiency and performance. While immersion cooling systems solve the heat problem, it brings new operational and environmental challenges. Dielectric fluid degradation leads to overheating and shortened equipment life. VOC buildup and microcontaminants cause corrosion. Hardware fouling and electrostatic failures. Waste fluid disposal raises environmental compliance and logistics costs. When people think about Bitcoin AI or data centers, they picture screens and servers. But the truth is, none of it runs without stable, clean liquid systems. Water is the invisible engine behind digital infrastructure. And with cavitation non-thermal plasma, we're stepping into a new era of how it's managed. And that was the CEO, Neil Volushin, CEO of Cavitation Technologies. And I'm hoping to meet him in a couple weeks. Actually, we're going to sit down, hopefully grab a bite to eat. And I want to ask him a lot about this because this is going to solve a big problem in regards to how you hear it all the time. These machines can't keep up with the mining. That's really what it comes down to. So that being said, I'm just going to, no, go ahead.
No, hopefully the machines can keep up the mining and, like you can keep up with the big words. That was rough, man.
Yeah. Right. Dielectric. That wasn't that bad. Jord uses bigger words. He really does. He does.
That was a hard one.
Well, you know what? I want to actually, and it's going to be exciting. Let's put it that way. I wanted to go through their Twitter page, just because.
It looks exciting though. It looks like an exciting company. I was just going through. I've been going through their OTC website the whole time that you've been talking about them, and I'm getting more and more excited about them. I'm gonna have to really do a deep dive myself into them.
Oh yeah, and guys, if you haven't, can you see this right now? Like, this is
Yeah.
their Twitter. They do what I love. I love what they do. They do videos. I mean, I don't know. And they have something going on with oh my gosh, oh my god, brain farts here. Cargo. On site at Cargo's corporate office, running tests with our plasma system, focus on bacteria elimination in produced water. Now, this is huge, and RWB said it. This has a great potential, especially considering that Cargo has a whole generated 160 billion in revenue in the fiscal year, and I think it ended in May in 2024. That's huge, and so you look at their pictures. He's always updating what he's doing. I like this fact that the stock's moving in the right direction. You don't see these volatile spikes down, up, down. It looked the last year, guys. Look at the year chart. It looks beautiful. It rebounded off then, and it's now above the 50 MA after that cross, which is great. So they're active on X. They're in the field here. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to sit down with Neil and really do some firsthand due diligence and get a chance to talk with them. And I can't wait for the spaces. The spaces come on. You know the thing. Tuesday. You know the thing.
Yeah, looks excited. I'll listen in.
Yeah. Oh man, let's keep this thing going. And I
Oh.
did put this on here. Come one, come all. Get to that spaces. All right, let's keep this going, kids. CYBL. Let's talk about CYBL. Maybe we bring Jordan because he's a CYBL shareholder, if I'm correct. So, Jord, I'm going to bring you in if you wouldn't mind, and I'm just going to run this down, and then I'd love your thoughts. How you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent. How are you guys doing today?
Did I forget to do the flame? I forgot to do the fireside intro, son of a bitch. I'm out of it. Too much work in the sun.
No, you're good.
All right. CYBL. So simply put, if you zoom out, it looks like 50 to 100s crossing, and it's slowly rebounding. I like where this is going. I think we're at another consolidation point here. I like where we're at. Looking closely in the last 3 months, we have a nice consolidation. We had that flip right here. And are they going to deliver the goods? Is this gonna be one of the fall runners? You tell me. I don't know. I think it has a lot of potential. Their last PR, Cyberlux Corporation awarded critical patent. I love seeing all these companies with patents and getting shit done. It's great. Patent for next generation munitions delivery system. This newly awarded patent protects a critical advancement in the delivery mechanisms used in unmanned aerial systems, allowing for precision triggered payload deployment through both onboard bump fire mechanisms and remote radio controlled commands. The patented system enables both autonomous and operator-controlled strike capabilities, creating significant new operational advantages for U.S. and allied forces, a key milestone for Cyberlux UAS innovation. All right, I'm just going to skip down here. The innovation covered in patent number US 123654558B2. By the way, I did look up on the system. It is legit, and they're not lying. Just so when somebody else, it's not a real patent, it is a real patent. I looked it up. It directly enhances Cyberlux's ability to engineer unmanned systems capable of scalable, field deployable munitions delivery critical to emerging Department of Defense priorities around autonomous weaponized drone systems. How's that for a sentence? So I'm going to just finish this up. And the Department of Defense recently launched a major initiative to reindustrialize U.S. drone manufacturing and accelerate deployment of affordable AI-enabled unmanned systems. With this patent, Cyberlux advances its leadership in developing homegrown UAS solutions that meet the operational needs of modern warfare, delivering innovation that can be scaled, secured, and deployed at speed. So Cyberlux operates across 3 business units. We already know this. I discussed this before: the unmanned systems and aviation, the defense technology solutions, and global integrated services. And they just revamped that. So, but we did cover that before. Yeah, let's go CYBL. I'm all about that. He's all about it. I know he is. You're like the good luck charm over there, and you know why. So it has to do with that picture. As we expand our IP portfolio and production capability, Cyberlux remains laser focused on supporting U.S. and allied military readiness with purpose-built, American-made innovation. Jord, the floor is yours. What do you think?
Yeah, I had to go get another beer so I could keep up with your pronunciation tonight.
Shut up.
No, I think I think Cbl specifically is a really good meta commentary on the OTC markets as a whole. It wasn't that long ago that they were caveat emptor. I might be a little bit off on my numbers, but I think they closed when they were still listed at like a penny or really close to that. And then by the next day, when nobody could buy it, it went all the way down to, I want to say, like 0015. So, I mean, almost an 85% drop. People were freaking out. They were upset. Of course, I know Moon Market took a lot of flack because he was a huge early supporter, and as far as I know, still is. And it was difficult, right? It's really kind of hard to see through your own emotions, but also they're not allowed to really issue press releases and tell you stuff until they fix, or clean up their mess. And so it's hard to know what's happening. Obviously, they were making moves in the background. And when any OTC company announces a collaboration with, I think as of today, the the largest market cap company in the world, Palantir, is that it has nowhere to go but up, in my opinion, right? And so you and myself and a bunch of other people started purchasing shares on Speed Trader because they still allowed it, even though a lot of the retail brokerages that we all use did not. And, I'm still holding a lot of my shares. I know a lot of people are holding theirs. Is that I think this is just how quickly, it can change for any company. And so the important thing is to do your due diligence, try to get as much information as you can, join a group so that you're talking to other like-minded investors about that specific company. And then as you're tracking it, to me, the most important metric is their market cap, right? Because it gives you a really easy way to evaluate what the potential future profits are for you based on where you bought it, and any mergers, acquisitions, increased revenue, or other collaborations that they do. And so with Cbl, I really was just dumbfounded when they announced their collaboration with Palantir. I mean, it's just, hey, Arlex, it's just amazing. And again, I don't know how much you guys, follow what's going on in Ukraine right now with that whole situation, but, drones are going to be part of future warfare, right? They're already proving that right now. They have a multitude of other functionality as well. Everything from doing inspections, depending on the equipment you put on them, from cameras, you can go inspect pipelines. There's just so much that can be done with them, as that the people that are early adopters to these companies that have already shown themselves, I believe they're on the DoD website as well, right, for having contracts there, that these companies that have proven themselves to have the ability to do deals with the U.S. government and Palantir, I don't know what more you would want out of an OTC company. And so very much like what you were talking about with CVAT and so many others, QINDs in the course of doing it, that the OTC is just a necessary stepping stone for a lot of these companies to get their foothold into the markets until they can grow to a size or generate revenues large enough that they can then sustain themselves on either the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. And so, I'm super bullish about it. And like I said, getting back to the initial point I was making about it being a meta commentary, is that, one person's, oh man, I knew this company was terrible. Why are you covering this? This is the worst. Now it's caveat emptor, this. I can't believe you followed this. You guys are all fools and this and that. And it already had a pretty low market cap at that time, dropping 85%. Obviously, it became too attractive to pass on at that point. And then through, the collaboration with the BFC community, and who was the person on Twitter that let you know too? Give them a shout out. But about Speed Trader.
Oh, Willow S. Willow S.
Willow,
and those guys. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And so just by not giving up and, being persistent and making sure that, you're not putting yourself in a bind, right? You should only be investing money you can lose. But we had money to lose and we invested, and now I'm just sitting back laughing, and I constantly just keep trying to buy it when it has down days, because I don't see anything but positivity on the horizon.
Yeah, no, I really like this one. I think it's a consolidation point, and I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm excited about this next one too. Drcr, a company with massive potential. I know you like this one. Look, zooming out, the potential for the stock. And now I made my entry down here, the 0354. No, I'm sorry. I came up on the downswing and I grabbed at 11, but I called it here at 354 and it bounced hard, and it was awesome. And that thing ran. I should have made my position there. I did. I'm gonna keep adding down here because I'm not gonna make that mistake again. And I think it's just a matter of time with this one. I think they're still operational on the business side. They're not quiet there. In regards to the public aspect side, they have been very quiet. They haven't laid out a PR since November. And you know what? When you're a big investor, when you're excited about the company and that everything you have going on tech-wise is really, really cool. The global sports gambling it's going to continue to grow. But when you don't see a PR, it's sort of frustrating. Fred Z's been all over DRCR. Fred. Fred's awesome. Fairness hearing, accept you, blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to happen August 5th. All right. Well, August 5th came and went. And, well, we just got this. All right. For the foregoing reasons, the parties' joint motion is granted no later than August 27th. So this is a key date. And by the way, well, I'll discuss the next. I'll just tell you that the share structures. But I do have the security details pulled up. Yeah, I'll show you that in a second. No later than August 27th, 2025, the parties must submit a stipulation of dismissal with prejudice in accordance with the agreement. Blah blah blah. So long story short, DRCR has to give 4 million shares to the plaintiffs. All right, that's it. And they have a 4 installment payments that they have to pay. All right, and it's not like millions of dollars. It's like what? It's I think it's 85,000 or something like that, if I'm correct. I think it's 85K. So it's not some astronomical amount. So, and this was brought up by a Rodney Schumann. I want to give him a shout out. That his concern, because he's like really thinking about investing here, and I think DRCR is a great investment. And he was bringing up the preferred blocks that they basically how they convert. They convert to billions or millions of shares, yada yada. The truth is, if they wanted to dilute the hell out of this thing and destroy it, they would have done it. They have not screwed with the share structure in years. It's been stellar. And so, and he also brought up, these company has provided advances to unrelated entities for working capital needs. These advances have no specific repayment terms and do not bear interest. All right. So I'm hoping that we hear something officially from them. I would think that maybe it is them lending to their app users, maybe perhaps. I don't know. That might be a thing. Maybe they're getting more. I don't know, Jordan. Any thoughts on what this could mean? But who knows? We need an official statement from the company. But I will say the share structure is phenomenal for this. They could pop this puppy right on a big board. They only have, granted, people were concerned about the preferred block, but I don't see them destroying it. Why would they do that? Why would they wait all this time and build up the company and build up their product just to destroy it? What are your thoughts on DRCR overall?
Yeah, so I'm super bullish. I love it. James Gibbons is a very engaging human being. I was fortunate enough to meet him at one of the shareholders meetings, and I can tell you there was approximately 15 to 20 of us sitting around listening to him, and you could hear a pin drop. Everybody was just absolutely, completely, and utterly engaged and listening. There's a lot of fascinating, stuff that's going on with them now, not least of which is the fact that their app, right, their gambling app itself is also able to be leased out to other companies, as it is better than a lot of the other options there. So not only will they be making money from actually running their own app, but they have the ability to lease out their app to other companies and generate further revenue from that. One of the other things that's super interesting about DRCR, besides the fact that it's just crazy cheap right now, the market cap's insanely low. I think they have approximately that much cash on hand, and that it is profitable, and they're not diluting, or they're not adding shares unnecessarily. But it has, which very few OTC companies have, something that, even though it's not technically an institution that owns it, it still acts like that, as those shares are not free trading, and that ILIS owns 20% of the OS, right? So they have 10 million shares, which I know is potentially going to be something that they may, sell those shares or leverage them and borrow against them or whatever when it recovers. But obviously with the lawsuit with Elko, I think that's something that they had to, deal with. It was previous to the owners, that when they came in, I think it had to do with the people that they bought the shell from. But
yes, it was everything was prior Gibbons. Yes.
Yeah, now that it's resolved, I think that they have nowhere to go but up. And we hear the same, the same kind of, I don't want to say worry, but the same fear from people all the time, is that when you're dealing with OTC companies like this, and much less so, for larger exchange companies, is that they're always going to have a large amount of preferred shares that could potentially execute to an even larger amount of common shares as a poison pill to alleviate any concerns of somebody coming in and buying their company for $1.8 million right now. Because if I had it, I would buy DRCR outright. Right.
Exactly.
it can't ever go above the authorized shares. Now this one actually has a pretty large spread between what the OS is and what the authorized shares are, right? They could theoretically, increase 8-fold before they had to ask permission from the shareholders to increase it again. But being that they haven't done that and that they're generating revenue, again, that's my belief, and having been in the company for a couple of years now, that's what they've shown us to be doing, right? So there's always some inherent risk there, but the analogy I would use is just because somebody broke your heart doesn't mean you don't move on and try to find love again. And so even though there's companies out there that have absolutely pulled the rug out from investors, issued tons and tons of shares, diluted it down, and then reverse split to try to fix it and reset and do it again. That does not seem to be part of their plan. And it's my belief that they were probably not putting out a lot of press releases or not really issuing a lot of statements until they, fully resolved the lawsuit. And now that that's resolved, the $1 million question is what are the plaintiffs going to end up doing with their shares? I personally hope they just sell them, and we're done with them. But, past that, I said, I'm very bullish on this company. It's another one that deserves to be on larger exchanges, which will obviously increase the ability for them to raise more funds. It offers more accessibility to a much broader swath of investors, both, globally, but also just there's so many investors right now because of the COVID boom with Robinhood and Webull and these things that just do not allow OTC companies to trade. And so the second that you go up in the NASDAQ, they've been following this company or seen tweets or seen, that if they're part of the BFC or the ILS Discord, we've been covering it for a long time, that you can see a huge influx of money from that. And then, of course, it also allows like mom and pop institutions to start buying in before the real money flows in.
Yep. I completely agree with you 100%. I love DRCR. And so listen, guys, I don't want to hear whether it's this week or next week or whenever. I'm like, they just added 4 million to the DT. Expect it. just expect it. All right. I want to talk about another one. This is a new edition. And this one is like, it has a cult behind it. Everybody's loving this one. DTREF. And somebody was like, you got to cover this one. So here I am. Now listen, like I said earlier, if I miss something, just tell me, and then I'll the next time I cover it, I'll definitely get the proper information out there. But this is a new ad for the BFC. DTREF sitting at 8 cents on the OTCQB, penny stock exempt, 12G3. They got all that stuff going on. They are in the Australian Securities Exchange, audited, and let's keep this thing going. The market cap, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh my God, the market caps. I want the $1 million market cap. I want the 10x or the 100x or. This has a lot of potential. I know some of you may think I'm crazy, but I'm not. Are you seeing this on your end, by the way, guys?
No, we're still seeing DRCR.
Are you still seeing DRCR? All right, I got to show this because I don't want to not show that. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to reshare. See, I'm having a lot of now my computer's humming. It is actually really, really funny because usually, we have, let's see, boom, and let's do this. Am I back? Okay, DTREF. This is all here. I just want to put this on the screen just so I could say that I did it. I don't want to be one of those guys like, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It matters to me that I share this with you. So I'm not full of shit. That's why. So yes, Australian Securities Exchange are audited. You got Stephen Baghdadi, and he's the managing director. But like I said, here it is, the 260 million market cap. And hey, they have an authorized shares are unlimited. It's a share party. Everybody gets shares. Their flow was updated in May, 1.8 billion. So, is there room for this to grow? I think, yeah. So some of you are like I said earlier, you may think I'm nuts. Like, all right, it's an OTC company with a $260 million market cap already. What gives? Well, the chart looks great. And we're smooth sailing right now. So what we have to see what happens. Well, let's look at their most recent PR. All right. Dateline Resources appoints mining veteran Simon Slesarwich. Man, the words today are getting me. Slesarwich. I'm going to just say Slesarwich. If I'm wrong, correct me. But this is Simon Slesarwich as COO to lead development of U.S. gold and rare earths project. Mr. Slesowicz brings more than 25 years of international experience in project development, operations, and executive leadership across a range of commodities, including gold, base metals, industrial minerals, and bulk commodities. In his new role, he will lead the development of Dateline's 100% owned Coliseum Gold and Rare Earth Elements project located in, not Australia, but California. All right. This is big news. All right. So his career highlights include large-scale operations management, commercial strategy and integration. It says right here, Mr. Slesowicz also led the sale of Boardwalk Resources to Whitehaven Coal as part of a $5.2 billion transaction. That's freaking huge. Also in mine development, Middlemount Coal, early in his career as general manager operations of Middlemount Coal Mine. Mr. Slesowicz, and I apologize, Mr. Slesowicz, that's not how you say your name. He transformed an underdeveloped concept into a fully operational mining operation. He successfully led the greenfield development of Middlemount, a 4.2 MTPA coking coal mine, overseeing approximately a 500 million in capital construction in a 400 million annual operating budget. This guy is experienced, all right? Like totally experienced. Reading this, that's what you want. You want companies to bring people on the board that have this kind of experience, especially if it's mining. Now, I've been following this guy, Algotron. Shout out to you. And so he said, this was a couple days ago, 7 cents is the bottom. I would grab a core position before the weekend. Next week could be explosive. We are dubbed as a second rare earth mine. And this is right from the weekly policy achievements from the White House. Issue final action to reopen Resolution Copper Mine for business. The Coliseum Mine, by name, guys, this was by the White House, by name. The Coliseum Mine, America's second rare earths mine, has been approved after years of stalled permitting. All right. He also posted this. DTREF, for shareholders that invest in stocks based on high probabilities, I'll leave this here. All right. And he goes on to talk about how, it's successfully completed as of 29 June 2025 with 167 stations surveyed. High resolution resistivity, I think that's how you say it, reveal that survey line 22. And by the way, I'm not a mining guy, but I've been covering a lot of mining stocks. So it's like mining month with the BFC. Contains an anonymously high resistivity zone that extends to surface directly coincident with mapped REE bearing finite dikes, whatever, and mount pass comparison. So listen, I'll be honest with you. Do I know what all these things mean? No, I don't. It sounds and looks really, really good. I'm going to run this through chat. You know why? Why not? just to break it down. But this is their latest PR. It seems very exciting. Overall, this is why I'm bullish on DTRF. Right? They own the Coliseum mine in California, and that's not just any mine. It's one of only 2 rare earth element mines in the whole U.S. Rare earths are the stuff, guys. We use these things for EVs, phones, military tech, and the government knows how important this is. We want to start thinking. We want to start mining. Trump, he made that a point of focus. The White House literally mentioned this, saying it's finally been approved after years of sitting in permit limbo. So on top of that, they hired Simon Slesowicz, the CEO. This guy is a mining vet who runs $1 billion projects. He's taking mines from idea to full production, and he did it on time and with the budget. And here's the kicker. He put $1 million, by the way, do the research. He put $1 million of his own dollars into DTREF stock. So you don't do that unless you're really, really confident. So we got a fully permitted, high demand U.S. mine, a proven leader running the show, and even the government is talking about the White House. So that's why I'm watching this one really, really close. So I don't know. You could chime in, Cornerstone, Jordan, if you want to talk about this one. This one is exciting. I couldn't not cover it. I just started digging into this over the last couple of days. I'm like, this is freaking significant, despite the $250 million market cap.
Man, I am not a mining expert either. No. I do like mining stocks though too, and I can do some basic D&D on them and stuff like that. But DTRF EF is a hot play, and my Discord is absolutely wild about it, and the guys that called TWOH in my Discord called DTREF low as well. and love it as well. So I'm hyped about it. I don't currently don't own any myself, but I'm looking to add it on any dips, and I'll leave that there.
Yeah, right on. Jordan, anything?
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. So everything's connected, and so the important thing to understand about this, besides the fact that they're only one of two plays that's been approved, is how important the allocation for rare earth minerals is in the world. China has something like 85% of most of what we're going to be using for the next 100 years to build everything that we use, from military equipment to phones and computers and just everything. And so it's a matter of national security. This is not a joke. This is something that our government's looking at and saying, we have to get all this. We used to take all of our recyclables that were, I would call dirty, and they were difficult to extract the minerals that existed in them, right? Like cell phones, computers, this and that. We would ship it overseas, and they're already starting to move away from this. And trying to come up with better technology to basically recycle those things because of how important they are and how hard it is and difficult and dirty to the environment it is to mine and process them. So the fact that they have been given that permit, and the fact that the United States government has a huge interest in making sure that for our own national security that we're producing at least some amount of this, or the most that we can, within the environmental confines, is that it's super important for that to know what's going to be happening in the future. There's still people speculating about where Bitcoin's going to be in 20 or 30 years, even though it definitely seems like it's going to be around and be a major player in our financial system. This is a matter of life and death. So when you see plays like this, again, just in my opinion, and I don't own any yet, but I'm definitely going to start adding, because every time I talk to somebody about it who knows about it, they kind of, mirror me back to me. That I see this as just being absolutely amazing. And so the market cap is not nearly as low as some of the stuff we like to get in. Like you were saying before, we want 10 baggers and 100 baggers and all the rest of it. Is that mining plays traditionally, because they're taking a commodity out of the ground and selling them, almost always pay dividends. And so if you look at most of the mining plays that exist, whether it's like Rio Tinto or this and that, they basically just keep mining for decades and decades and just keep issuing dividends to the shareholders. So if I can get in at the ground floor, or even maybe the first or second floor, and buy it, I feel really bullish on the prospects for it in the future.
Yeah, no, I like this one. I'm definitely going to keep watching it. I might pick some up. And, when you connect the dots like this, when it's coming from the top, coming from the White House, saying like, yeah, now we're going to get this party started. Yeah, that's a reason for investors to be happy. And this kind of stuff does not happen regularly on the OTC. So, guys, whether or not you take advantage of it, that's up to you. Make sure you do your due diligence. I want to keep this party going because we only have about 15 minutes left or so, but I still want to cover a couple of these ESAUF. And I know Cornerstone's going to chime in on this one. I just want to show the most recent PR that they had. And this is important because this has to do with beating that Lassonde curve. And I'll talk about that in a second. But, basically, they're going to tap into all these tailings. All right. It's called the tailings to cash flow model. So they're basically, he's distracting me now, Chuck. What the hell, Chuck? Yes, it is OTC QB, but still, it's OTC. Son of a bitch. Call me out right there. I'll get you. No, I'm just kidding. But no, they're doing the tailings to cash flow model, and it's pretty. It's going to keep the money coming in, and I'm going to just fast forward right to this. They want to avoid the speculators leave. They want to continually add value. They don't want to have a value dip. All right, so they're going to take advantage of these tailings. So that way, a lot of times these mining plays, what happens, they lose value because they're excavating and they're pouring money into the project itself, sometimes not even knowing what they're going to get out of it. So based on this, Corner, just go for it. Tell me what you think about this one overall, because I don't know. I really like this one, and I think the tailings to cash flow model is actually quite significant because they go on to talk about in the PR basically about how there are tailings all across in these mines. They're just not being used or not being cleaned up and processed.
So it's
crazy.
actually really it's cool. The cool thing about it is actually it's two pronged to play, and that's what I like about it. Is actually it's an environmental side as well. Is like they're showing up at these old mine sites, and all this material that's been dug out of the earth by the old timers, and we've all seen some of these gold shows where old timer tailings have gold in them. We know they have gold in them because the old timers didn't have the proper material to process the material that we have today. We know that. So they've got these big piles of tailings all over this thing, and old timer shacks and wastes and tailings and cyanide and this, and it's just left in our environment. It's a disaster. So they go in there and they clean it all up and they reprocess the tailings and they put it back in the environment in the proper way. Clean, and while they're doing that they extract the minerals, and then they use that money to fund exploration on that property because obviously that gold came from somewhere, and then they do ant surveys, and they, like with Montalban, they found a massive deposit equal to, if you listen to a couple of the Canadian universities, equal to one of the greatest silver and gold deposits in the history of the world. um could be a multi-billion-dollar deposit. So we'll see, but like there's great things coming for this company that on the environmental side, and they don't have to just live off the backs of shareholders while they get there, because they'll be in cash in early 2026 from their operations. So even in their press release, I just wanted to point out from just 3 days ago, if you just scroll down like 3/4 of the way, it's kind of almost hidden in there. It's like, in other corporate news, in other business, the board of directors is pleased to announce the issuance of consultants and officers 1.85 million options to purchase ES Gold common shares for the price of $1.36
It's
for a
wild.
period of 5 years. And remember, we're talking the shares trading at 67 cents right now. So they have a bit of confidence in their stock if they're issuing 1.85 million shares to their officers to right to purchase at over twice the price of shares. So
Oh, I agree, and it's incentivizing to the retail. Is like, just like you said. Well, if management's buying at double the value now, I want to get
yeah,
in now.
yeah,
100%.
like we can buy cheaper than that. They're locking their price in at. They're saying, oh geez, this is the price we want to buy at.
Oh,
Oh gosh,
exactly.
well, why not? Let's buy in at half their price. And they
Yeah.
know more than we do for sure.
Well, I think the tailings cash flow model is great. Guys, keep this one on the radar. This one, I'm excited for it, and I want to see their value continue to rise. I'd love for them to take out that Lassonde curve, with their ES Gold model over here. So, thanks for chiming in on that, Cornerstone. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
One more I wanted to talk about. Now, I don't want to get too into this because I've I've covered this one a couple times. MLS and Htoo. Listen, these guys have taken OTCs to big boards. They've done it. They're SC reporting. They're audited. These guys have done it before. Now I got a little slack because I looked at the chart. It's consolidating here, but I got the slack for here. I said this. Hey, look, they've had no news, no official news yet. And somebody was like, well, no, you got to actually look under disclosure. So if you are looking for communications from the management for TWOH, make sure you look under disclosures because they did have a couple updates recently. So, all right, make sure you do that. Even though I say I'm waiting for news, and if they get news, they should put it where the damn news tab is. All right. I don't know. Is there an extra fee for that? Are they broke? I'm just kidding. I'm not calling TWH broke. This is called sarcasm and humor. All right, so let's take a look in all fairness, and I wanted to share this with you guys at their latest disclosure. I can't call this a news piece. This is their latest disclosure. Two Corporation is pleased to announce an important new direction for our business and future growth. After careful evaluation, our management and board have made the decision to expand our focus and transition Two Hands into an investment holding company, a move designed to create more opportunities to grow your investment. To our valued shareholders, first, Thank you for your continued support and patience as we work to build value for all shareholders. We've been exploring a number of exciting opportunities, and today we're ready to share our next steps. Earlier, we introduced Chef Experience, a venture we believe has real potential in an underserved part of the food industry. That was actually in the disclosure before this, guys. So make sure you go on OTC Markets, look up disclosure, and make sure you go look at it. I know I'm being sort of a smart ass right now, guys. It's okay. All right. It's a promising start, and we're proud of the team driving it forward. Best of all, it's a project that doesn't require a large investment to grow. However, we've also come across several other interesting opportunities outside the food sector. Until now, we've stayed narrowly focused, but we believe it's time to widen the lens. That's why we've decided to transition into an investment holding company. What does that mean? Simply put, we'll be looking to invest in, support, and actively participate in the management of promising businesses, especially in digital markets, technology, fintech, and the gig economy. Let's keep it going. Our goal is to create additional avenues for expanding two hands and enhancing your investment. The transition to this new model is subject to the approval of shareholders. To move forward, we will be asking for your vote as shareholders to approve this new business model focused on diversified investments. It is intended that this transition will constitute a change of business as defined in the policies of the Canadian Securities Exchange, resulting in the reactivation of the company pursuant to CSE policy. We are entering this next chapter with focus and determination. We believe this shift in focus will allow Twoh to identify exciting new ventures and deliver strong long-term value for all shareholders. Thank you for believing us. We're excited about what's ahead. So yes, I'm excited about this one. I think, listen, with the people that they have on board, they obviously have an idea for what they're going to do, and they're chipping away here. So as it's consolidating, maybe swoop up some shares if you like it. You know, that's all I'm going to say about it. But I do like TWH. I think it's a good one. And make sure you guys, in all seriousness, look at the disclosure tab. Now, the next one, I don't want to spend too much time on because we actually have covered this quite a bit. ECGI. All right. OTCID. They're sitting at trip 6. I really like this one. Look at the market cap. And this is, guys, it's a legit company. I've loved covering them, but they're talking about I could go buy this company. It's $216,000. Held at DTC is $275 million. This is the share structure. Like, guys, in my opinion, I think this has the potential to be a penny runner. In my opinion, I think this could go on a major tear. I truly, truly do. You know, their latest PR. You know, we talked about this about the true to form. I've went over this a bunch of times. If you haven't, make sure you go and look at the PRs. This one is under the news tab on OTC Markets. All right. But their quarter revenue's up. Everything's looking good numbers wise. Quarter 2 was up 73%. First half 2025 revenue was 35% higher than all of 2024. So, and you guys, like I said, you guys could read through this. I've already broken this one down. But keep this one on your radar because it is am I wrong, Jordan? Like, these are the kind of plays that you want, that when they're growing, when they're increasing revenue, increasing their value, and they're sitting there with a silly ass 216,000 market cap, that might be an opportunity. That's just me.
Well, I mean, listen, I completely agree. I think the real black swan event that's happened to investors in our lifetime is the addition of cryptocurrency. You know, it's taken so much of that money that would have been, you know, essentially rolling around in either real estate or stocks or, you know, other assets. And a lot of money has flowed out of the stock market, specifically the OTC, when the volume went down. And obviously most of the stocks have been kind of in downward spirals since 2021 surge. And so what I personally like to do is I obviously have a lot of, like, you know, your standard, I would argue, you know, in you know, parenthetically, safe plays like your blue chips. You know, I keep those stocks up, and when those stocks go up enough, you know, I hate to sell them because I don't want to have to generate you know, that taxable event, and then I'm not really getting what I should be getting. And so how I hedge against that is I have a basket of these speculative plays that, like I said, you never know where they're going to go. Even the best idea in the world doesn't mean anything if it's not executed properly. And there's so many hurdles, as we all know, just to getting your name changed or uplisting to a larger exchange. I mean, there's just a lot, getting a good funding when interest rates climb, it gets harder and harder to get money from better sources that are going to give you better rates. But when you find a play, you want to be part of a community, you want to do your research, look into the company, see if it works as part of your investing plan. And like I said, I love having a basket of these plays because then when they go up 500, 600, 700%, I can basically sell some of that, reclaim my money, let the rest of it ride, or whatever it is that you do that's part of your plan. But man, I mean, when I see market caps like that, I just start to salivate. I mean, it's just, they're increasing revenues, they're growing as a business, and they're so undervalued right now that any deal that they do or any substantial increase in revenue could just send it.
Right on. And I do think it's going to be a fall run. Guys, I think we have a lot that's going to run this fall. And you can't pick them all. Can't have them all. I want them all. I want to finish off with one more. And I was going to cover Pnxp. But we did just have them on, and I will say, stay tuned for more. I'm working on getting an update from the CEO and looking forward to him getting back to me. But I want to finish with this, and this is one thing that we're waiting for. Htoo is now compliant, kids. It's now compliant, and Qind has a nice share structure, and it's sitting at a $4 million market cap. Listen, anybody that watches the BFC regularly, you guys know the saga, the Isla saga, and that, it includes SAML and Drcr and CGRA and Htoo and those redheaded stepchildren, SGN, and that other one that didn't work out. But I mean, there is so much potential for the share exchange, and we've never been through this before. So I'm trying to gather in my mind how exactly this is going to work out for people who have been adding down here. And so if you could share your thoughts on how this is going to run, I'd love to hear it, Jor, because I'm getting excited about the share exchange, very excited. And so I hope we get a high value share exchange, and I hope they do an acquisition leading into the share exchange. So I don't know. I'm going to stop rambling. Floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to Miracles and his father right before I joined with you when I was sitting backstage. We've been following these plays for a minute, and obviously we had a huge acquisition that we were going to do with QI. It didn't end up going through. I know that it's been very difficult for them just because it's been a very difficult uncoupling. They had to redo their financials. There was just a bunch of stuff there. I'm sure we lost time. I know we lost money. It just wasn't ideal. Now, obviously, and relatively, I would argue, in OTC standards, in short succession, they actually brought Htoo to the table. And so now Htoo, after a 35-to-1 reverse split, had something like 746,000 shares. I believe that they've added an additional million shares to their OS. But what I think is going to personally happen is, depending on how many deals, whether they be mergers or acquisitions, they can do to add value to either Qind or Htoo, that when they do the share exchange, it's almost certainly going to be done with preferred shares. This has the added benefit of not allowing people to sell immediately and to tank the price afterwards, and also not increasing the OS until those shares are free trading. In addition to that, I think that there's some benefit to them offering people a potentially larger share exchange than the 0.463, which was the initial one they did pre-split, and then I believe it's 0123, or 0123. It could be 132. After you factor in the 35-to-1 reverse split. And so let's just say, and again, this is all hypothetical and speculative, but let's just say that they issue X amount of shares and they do it preferred. Well, the lockup period for those is 6 months. Well, they could give people that are willing to lock them up for a year or even potentially longer a larger amount of shares for free, essentially, just by doing longer lockup. And so I'm very interested to hear the details on that. The analogy that we, keep using behind the scenes is, if your house is in foreclosure, you can't do anything with it. You can't make any deals. You can't borrow money from the bank. You can't do a HELOC. You can't do anything. But literally the moment that foreclosure is taken off, then you have multiple possibilities to do all kinds of things with the financing. And so the same is true for them now, having met the 2 compliance issues they had of holding an annual shareholders meeting and staying above $1 for 10 days on the NASDAQ, which they've successfully completed both of those. And I believe they announced compliance on Friday. Is that right?
I'm not
Was it
sure.
Friday?
I'm not sure if it's
I'm
this
pretty
Friday.
Well, I think they announced it Friday, if I'm correct. But if not, it will be getting an official press release very soon. And so the big question that so many of us, and of course I own both Qind and Htoo, but the big question for Qind people is, what's going to be the exchange rate? When is the exchange going to happen? Because I know nobody wants to get off the OTC more than they do. It allows them better and more access to more quality funding and lending. It allows us to be on that larger exchange where you can start trading options. You can start, not worrying about getting in and out of positions because the volume is significantly higher than it is, on the OTC. I mean, we've had days on the OTC where it might have only traded $40,000 to $50,000 cash, total. And the average for Qind and for Htoo, that's 10x even on low volume days. Usually by 10 o'clock, it's already traded a couple $100,000. So I'm super bullish to see what they do now that they have these hurdles overcome. And I think with JP Backwell's excellent management and obvious track record for showing the ability to acquire other companies and to build value organically. The thing that was so sorely lacking was the availability of the funds in order to close those deals. And so once they have the ability to either sell shares, leverage those shares for loans and or get better quality loans from people, I think the sky's the limit, right? Like with a $50 million, British auto manufacturer, El Shola has been adding, clients. I think they just added like $0.9 million in revenue by picking up some more residential gas deliveries. And I think there was a couple of commercial ones in there too, is that I think that they have a plan. I like their plan. And I think that once we get through about 2 to 3 months here, and hopefully obviously faster, that we're really going to start seeing things come in, because obviously, like the foreclosure analogy that I used, is that they really couldn't do anything. Nobody's going to give you money when you might get kicked off the NASDAQ. But now that that's behind us, I'm really excited for the next couple months to see what they announce, see what they do. And if they close any of these deals or add more value or increase their revenue organically, it's got nowhere to go but up, because again, the market cap is so low that when you have companies that are already adding almost $1 million in revenue a year, you can see that scales up very nicely from where we're currently, priced at.
Yep, I think we're gonna have a great close to 2025. Hey guys, so that's all I got. I know. I want to remind everybody, hey, this Tuesday, join our open chat. Now we are going to have our Q&A with Cavitation Technologies, but we're also going to have an open stock chat. I will open it up to whoever wants to speak. All right. So if there's a stock that you want to share, come share it. Come share some due diligence. If you have any questions, make sure, as I like to say, get your asses there, and we're going to have a nice time. So listen, I want to thank Cornerstone. I want to thank Jordan Huggett. It's always great having you guys on. I want to thank everybody that's tuned in tonight. Anybody, hey, listen, like this content, share it, share the due diligence. And, hey, come Tuesday, come one, come all. You guys have an awesome, awesome night. And remember, there is more that binds us than breaks us. Stay out of trouble, kids.